This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library.
Enough, you can get the Truefire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price that you can get Truefire All Access for.
So these things in general, even if they're not cheap, so this is like the Behringer DT100, and these are Audio-Technica ATX50 or something like that. I have to tell you, honestly, I'd basically rather not practice with them on a tool. There are some situations, right, where you find yourself, like, I have to be playing with headphones, whether that's because you've got a kid at home or something like that. But generally, I find it not a particularly positive experience. Now, this is not necessarily exactly what this was made for. So, IK Multimedia have come out with this ARC on-ear headphone amplifier, and there's a few things that it does. In this video we'll get into some of it, but I'm kind of using it actually to shape things with my headphones so that I can pretty much just have this like box. It's got presets built in, and you know, you could set up a preset, right, this is to do the accurate thing that it was actually designed to do. You could have another preset, which is kind of where I've ended up using it, to have a slightly less fatiguing sort of experience that makes you want to practice for a bit longer. This might seem like a bit of a weird product for me to be demoing. This is the IK Multimedia ARC on-ear. Now, for me personally, I don't tend to like playing with headphones, with one exception, which is the Boss Katana Waza thingies. But I do have some relatively expensive, you know, not the cheapest headphones that you can buy, like just middle of the range ones. So I've got some Audio-Technica ones, and what this product seems to suggest that it could do would be to actually somewhat mimic what your studio monitors might be like. So this is the ARC on-ear. So this is like a little headphone amp, but it's got corrective software in there, which I'm going to check out and see whether this improves over the next kind of few days my experience of using headphones. And if it does, I'll tell you. If it doesn't, I'll also tell you. This is a sponsored video, they've sent it, but I don't have to tell you I like it if I don't. So how is this going to work? I'm going to plug my headphones in here. This is going to be my headphone output. Now on this side here, got analog in, on and off, we've got USB. So I'm just going to check the manual to see what I'm supposed to do here. Right, no manual needed because this lead is clearly going to be from my headphone output on my audio interface. Got the USB plugged in, and then we can turn on here, and this is kind of what it looks like. So the main issue really with recording with headphones in this way everything sounds super close. So we've got this ARC on-ear app, and this is my first time using it. Update firmware. Alright. Okay, so here's my first look at it. So we can select virtual speakers, we could select our headphone model. So I think I have Beyerdynamic, these ones, DT100s. So select headphone. I can select whatever speakers, so these are what I have. Can actually select like the ideal impedance for your headphones and stuff like that. So that's pretty clever. I could even EQ things. Basically, what this is a headphone amplifier with sort of corrective filtering and stuff like that built in. So they've essentially modeled the response of lots and lots of different headphones. So in particular, they've got these two in here. And what they then do is kind of apply this filter to give you a more accurate response. And that's on the calibrate setting. And then you can also, once you're in that space, sort of do like you would with a normal sort of studio, maybe go through a couple of different sets of reference speakers. So for instance, it's got like my JBL LSR 305s are in there, like budget monitor speakers, but even down to as much as like, well, what would it sound like on an iPhone or on a TV? So you can do some of that sort of reference mixing. The idea for this, I think, is it's for like pros that are on the road, and having to mix with headphones. However, what I've ended up doing myself is basically there's an EQ that you can apply as well as it doing like the referencing thing. So I've not got it doing the corrective, so I'm not looking for it to be the flattest response, which is kind of partly what it's designed to do. Obviously, if you were mixing music on here, then you want it to be like spot on accurate. For me as just a guitarist using it at home or on the go, what I'm actually looking for is something to just make these things more bearable as a playing experience. So there's two things that help with this. First of all, there's like this studio ambience setting, which kind of just gives you like a little bit of sort of like puts it back in a space. I think that's partly what's difficult with headphones, is that it's like, right, well, it's right here, right up in my ears. Open back headphones, by the way, can kind of help with that. So that might be one of the other things that I would recommend checking out, would be a decent pair of open back headphones. Instead of, there's like so many closed back ones, try some open back ones. You might be pleasantly surprised. And then the next thing that it can do is there's this EQ. So I'm kind of using that to shave off a little bit of the high end. You can also on the calibrate setting go from warmer to brighter, which is like a tilt EQ, so you could try that. But yeah, I am finding actually that, because what I was doing was just checking by plugging my headphones out of here and then going back and forth between sort of just my normal interface output and this output. I am finding that once I've listened to the ARC, I really don't want to go back. So yeah, for me, not necessarily using it as an accuracy thing or like the flattest response, but actually using it just to make my time practicing more enjoyable. I think it's got 4 hours battery life, USB input and all that sort of stuff, so you can charge it as you're using it. And yeah, you can plug in, you know, any source with a jack output or one of these, and I think just generally have a bit more of an enjoyable time. You know, considering if I was going to be relying on headphones for a while, I might even just take this out and plug it into a modeler and it just basically enhance the experience that these things give. So yeah, not exactly what the product was necessarily designed to do, but IK Multimedia sent it across and I was like, yeah, I'll check that out. I use IK Multimedia stuff all the time, including the TONEX cab. So I thought, yeah, I'll do a video on that. Cheers for stopping by. And yeah, headphones. It's a bit of a thing. If you've got any tips on A, which headphones you think have worked best for you, or B, any sort of other general tips, I think this could even actually enhance the experience of using your normal sort of earbuds. You know, just tweak things, maybe dial in the mids a bit better, because these tend to have like a lot of highs and a lot of bass potentially. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of headphones. Cheers for stopping by.